Hello, and welcome back to the Christian Reeve podcast. Today's guest is an actor, content creator. His name is Aziz Kemal. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Thank you for having me. Yeah, I'm doing very well, thanks. And how about yourself?
All right, I'll make this real quick because this show's about you. I had a really bad day yesterday on set. I covered it on my Twitch. It's the first time I ever had to walk off set for something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, faced a lot of disrespect and unprofessionalism, and it was a complete nightmare. And the whole day is kind of funny, actually. You know, when you have one of those bad days where everything that can go wrong consistently throughout the day goes wrong.
Yeah,
You
it's
know
going
what
to
I
come
mean?
in threes, isn't it? It's never just one bad thing. It's got to be. What were you working on?
Well, okay. So basically, I didn't know that it was a student production. Okay, so that's
Right.
number one. There wasn't transparency there. Now, normally, nothing against students. I worked with many students over the past, some of whom are real professionals and will go somewhere in this industry. Um, but in the UK, I don't know, not always great experiences. For example, obviously, as actors, we need like to build up our show reels. That's my main
Of
goal right
course.
now. Like I've got
Of
plenty
course.
for the voice stuff. I'm on Spotlight. I'm doing all these different things, but the main thing I need to get that next level, you know, to get an agent, to get noticed by the bigger productions, is to have that reel. So I'm building the footage, and I've had some. This has been my best year so far, but that's what I went into it thinking. Like, oh, okay, this it was presented as a web series. It was presented as, you know, exciting opportunity. You know, I tried a different way of learning my lines, like all this cool stuff, right? I get there, I had to travel to Birmingham really early in the morning on
Wow.
not many hours sleep. I'd turn down work for this, you know, put the sacrifices in.
Yeah.
And I turn up and just unprofessional. And you know, I've had bad experiences. We all have, and we'll obviously cover maybe some of yours as well.
Yeah.
But like, it was a difficult decision to make, but I felt like I had to. I felt like for my own self respect as an actor and as a person, I had to walk away. And it was difficult to make that decision, but ultimately I felt it was the right decision to make. Um, but it is what it is. We'll have a bad day. But let's flip it back to you. Since we're talking about it, tell me about a
Yeah.
time when in your acting career when you faced like a difficult challenge or maybe something similar to that, and like what you learned from it and how you overcame it.
Do you know what? Did you find this job through like Star Now or Mandy or one of them?
No, it was backstage, but
Okay.
again,
Well, yeah.
it was misrepresented. So it was presented as one thing. You get there, you find out it's something else. It's like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I first started my career, I was told about Star Now, Mandy, Backstage, all these little websites that obviously you're going to get some good work, but you're going to get some bad work on there as well. And my first ever job, I think this was like literally the first job I ever applied to. Um,
Oh man.
and I didn't really know what to expect. It was unpaid, but similar to like you said, I was like, I just want to build a show reel. If I can get some nice footage of me speaking, that's all I wanted.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it was a house in Wembley, and I live in North London, so Wembley's not too far. It's about 20-30 minute drive.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I've gone down there. I'm sitting outside this house. No one's there. No one's
Sketchy.
answering the phone. I was scared. I'm not gonna lie. I literally WhatsApped to my friend. I said, "This is my location. If you don't hear from me within an hour, like just give me a call or something. Send help." But luckily, it was okay. It was just a young group of guys. They were okay. They were professional but unprofessional. Certain things
Mm.
were like they were trying they were trying to make it in the industry. They're trying to make their own short films. I think they were of Sri Lankan background. I can't really
Cool.
remember. So the whole film was in a different language, but they just needed me to say like a couple of lines in French. Anyway, it was okay. It wasn't too much of a bad day, but they told me I was going to get paid £50. So I was like, okay, fine. I'm happy to like. I didn't even ask for money. I was happy to do it for free. But they told me they were going to do it for £50. Anyway, um, yeah, months and months were just going by, going by, going by. I'm emailing, calling, texting, WhatsApp, everything. And I'm thinking, am I really chasing £50? Like, it's not that much money, but like, it's just the principle, isn't it? It's like,
Yeah.
you told me I'm getting paid. I sent you my invoice. You haven't paid me. But yeah, I remember. I think I got paid about 6 months later or something. But for me, that was a big lesson. It was just like try to find out who the people are you're going to be working with beforehand. See their work before you work, like before you work with them. Get them to send you their show reel of their whatever they've directed or filmed or whatever it is. But yeah, that was one of the early experiences. But it kind of just made me straight away think, right, I can't do this again because it was just frustrating, and like yeah, it was just a weird experience for me. That was probably one of the. I haven't really had a proper bad experience just yet. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I mean, you've touched on a really good point there, and that's kind of a similar lesson I suppose I learned with this. Because while the initial advert that I received for my project wasn't giving away much as far as the fact that they were students and stuff,
yeah,
there was the ability to look into those people, which I didn't do. For example, I found out later on that like the director was a student actor, and I was like, see, if I'd have looked up his page, I would have seen that, and I would have realized that, and that's on
yeah,
me. But with that being said, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're, starting out or you're right at the top of the industry. Professionalism, I think, as a concept, is something you can have at any age. And
yeah,
something,
100%.
right, something like that, like you've sent an invoice through, you've done it the right way, which is, I was going to raise that, but obviously you've already
Yeah,
sort of cleared that up. So you did that. Basically, 20 actors watching, get paid first, get it up front, or at the very least, ask for like 50 now, 50 later. So you got some sort of insurance. Um, but yeah, no, I mean, I've had instances. I still got stuff I'm waiting to be paid for now, and it's like two
yeah,
months, 3 months, and part of that is the industry, and obviously actors were self-employed. So for anyone that's in self-employment, I know people deal with this. I dealt with this in marketing, for example.
mm,
It's just unfortunate, and ironically, the bigger the company, sometimes the longer you have to wait.
yeah. No, it's
But
true.
but yeah, no, I suppose it is good to look into people and get an idea. I know that websites like Backstage, for example, which is one that I use quite a lot, they tend to have like a message at the top that indicates a listing where the website hasn't reviewed it. So
Mm,
normally they'll go through a few hoops and it'll be like, okay, this person's credited with X amount of projects, they're trustworthy, etc. But there's a lot of instances where people aren't. Maybe it's their first posting, whatever.
yeah.
And yeah, and there's like little red flags I suppose you can look out for. But yeah, no. Since we're talking about your acting, like let's just jump straight into that as well. So, how did you first get into acting? Like, talk us through that journey.
Phew. It's a long story,
I
but
love
I'll
that.
try to keep it short. So as a child, I used to go drama school. I don't know if you might have done, singing, acting, dancing, all of that, like on the weekends.
Nice.
It was good fun when I was a kid. I never really thought of it as something that big. It was kind of just for fun. I enjoyed it, and then a part of me was like, okay, maybe I can do something with this. Then I did my GCSE drama. Had a bit of a nightmare GCSE exam where I forgot my lines,
Oh no.
and I just screamed in front of the whole class. Like, yeah, it was just a nightmare. And I remember that day, I just said to myself, you know what? I'm done with acting. I can't do it. So that was the beginning. And then in my late 20s, this may be a quarter life crisis, if you want to call it. you know, um, I had a girlfriend at the time. I had an office job that I was just bored of. I was searching. I was searching for something. I was like, I need to do something that I like. I need to do something I'm passionate about. And randomly, one of my friends asked me to be an extra on yeah, I think it was for Barber, the jackets that they make. Yeah, so it was
Oh,
it was a
sick.
Barber jacket commercial, and he was like, "Oh, they're looking for extras. Do you want to come with me?" I said, "Okay, why not?" We went down, um, and randomly, out of everyone that was there was about 100 of us. They um, they were looking for someone to be a stand-in for the main actor because he hadn't arrived yet. So I'm just standing there, and I'm like, "Oh." For some reason, I was like, "I really hope they pick me." Anyway, this guy just picked me out of the crowd, and he said, "Okay, we're gonna just use you as a stand-in, just to walk down the stairs, and we're just gonna follow you with the camera just to see what it looks like on the screen." I've done it a few times, and for some reason I was just like, wow, this feels really good. Like the fact that I was just doing it in front of people when I hadn't done anything like that before, it just gave me this weird confidence where I was like, I really like the fact that I'm on camera. It was, yeah. After that, the main actors arrived. They've said, okay, Aziz, we're done with you now. Go back into, you're an extra again. Stuck you in the back, can't be seen, whatever. So I'm like, wow, okay, fine.
Brutal.
Uh, yeah, like just you know how it is in the industry. They can
A
just
tough
put
industry, yeah.
you back on. Yeah. But yeah, so I've gone away, and then one of the directors is speaking with someone, and he's like, I overheard him, and he said, "Oh, I like the way he looks on camera," and I thought, "Oh, okay, maybe something's happening here." Anyway, they pulled me over. They said, "Look, we want to put you upstairs with the main models." I was like, "Excuse me? Like, what? What's going on right now? Like, this is incredible." They've set me upstairs, sent me to hair and makeup, put some clothes on me, and they've just sent me next to all these models. And I'm like, wow, I've literally just come on set as an extra and I've ended up by the models and I'm going to be in the commercial. So I started talking to the models and actors, and I'm like, just trying to find out, like, how did you guys get this job? Because I was just asked by a friend. They've told me they've gone to drama school, they've got agents, blah blah blah. I've started noting everything down. I was kind of like, right, this is what everyone's telling me. They've gone to drama school, they've got an agent. This is how we're going to get in.
Mhm.
So there was a drama school that popped up quite a lot, Identity. I don't know if you've heard of them. Yeah, so Identity drama. I was like, cool, I'm signing up. I signed up, started doing part-time drama, um, and then at the end of my second term, the drama school uh, said, "Oh, we like you. We want to sign you up into our agency." So I got signed up to their agency, built up a little bit of a show reel slowly through Star Now and all that, and then yeah, put me on Spotlight. Started getting auditions just through my agent, and then yeah, pretty much that's what it was. That was the beginning of how I kind of got straight in, and then obviously I've changed agents and things like that, but that's the beginning of the journey.
Thanks for sharing. Yeah, a couple of questions just off the back of
Yeah.
that. So walk us through like the timeline of that. When was that extras shot and then to present day? Like how long are we talking?
So I think this was in 2017. I
Right.
think I yeah, it was the first extra job, and then I got into drama school, and then I think it was around 2018, 2019 where things started to kind of. It was like the showreel was kind of there, and then
Mm.
it was getting more auditions. Yeah, that's when it kind of began. 2019, I would say, is when it started to feel more like, right, I'm getting auditions consistently. But yeah, 2017 was the beginning.
So, I mean, it'll sound like an obvious question, but obviously, I'm still building mine right now.
Yeah,
I'm 5 years in, and this has been my best year so far. But still, like yourself, like trying to get those building blocks. Like I only just got on
cool.
Spotlight this year.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But like with the show reel, how quickly would you say you started getting like more meaningful kind of auditions off the back of that? Was it like an instant thing, or did it take some time? Like,
Um, so I was advised to just put some monologues on my show reel to
okay.
begin with. And I did that. I put a bunch of monologues, and I also used, obviously, I do my content stuff.
Hmm.
So I made two show reels, and I just put monologues, and then I put comedy stuff basically.
Okay.
And it kind of just showed two different sides to me. Obviously, my comedy is very character related, like it's me doing different accents and different voices and things like that. So once I had those on there, I feel like it helped. And then, yeah, then slowly, um, through little jobs on Star Now and through, um, yeah, small little commercials that I did, that kind of got added onto the show reel. And now everything's separate now. It's like I got my commercial, TV, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, that's kind of how I got into it.
Love the organization. It makes me very happy. um, with
You would
regards,
think so.
mate, it pleases me. Like, I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen the stuff I've done online, like with my
Yeah, yeah.
organization. I'm very like meticulous with that. And it's not really, I mean, I don't know. It's sort of going, I mean, ever since I signed up on Spotlight, for example, I've got an influx of like offers for extra stuff, which, and this
Mm.
is the question that I wanted to ask you because, you know, breaking out of that is tough. You know, for anyone who's worked on a set before, done extras work, or who's kind of stuck in that and trying to break through, it can be pretty hard. Like, for example, you posted a video within the last week where it was beautiful. It was like you on set on an extras thing, kind of just looking a bit fed up, like, ugh. And then
Yeah.
fast forward to like years later and you're being featured in something and it's like,
Yeah.
you know, chase your dreams basically. And for me, yeah, I look at that and like it's a source of inspiration. I'm like, well, damn, like he's doing it, man. He's really doing it, and it's beautiful to see. And
I'm
but
glad.
it's tough as well because like when you're trying to make it for yourself, it's you get told all this different information. Like, and I give an example. So with the extra stuff, I've received all sorts of advice. I hear stuff like what you just said, where people go, "Oh, you can get featured. Oh, you can get bumped up to this. Who knows what could happen?" And
Mm.
with what you said there about a director looking at how you look and stuff and deciding that you look good on camera, that's a big reason to do extras work. You know, I've also spent time telling friends based on the information I've been given to like not necessarily avoid extras work, but to kind of look at it for what it is. Like the
Yeah.
chances of you being picked up for something are slim because you're in the
Right.
background. You're supposed to not be seen. That's kind of the whole point.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
but, but at the same time, the opportunities do come up. Sometimes, you know,
It can happen. Yeah.
yeah, maybe someone didn't show up, or maybe the director changes his mind, or you know, you suddenly need someone, and then boom, you're featured, right? Um, I know a lot of people who've kind of got stuck into that circuit and they're doing extra stuff off the back of, you know, project after project after project, but I don't know necessarily that they're moving forward with their career. I don't know specifically what their goals are, to be fair, but I mean, if you're happy being an extra as a career thing, then fair enough. But if you're looking to break through, I guess my question to you is, to what point do you think it really can be useful? Like, I look at it as an opportunity to meet other people in the industry. You know, I've off the back of it, I've worked with people, directors, cinematographers who are coming up just like myself, and we've done stuff together. And I see it as a valuable resource for networking. Right? Of course, it's an opportunity to get paid as well. Gets you out of the office. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but can you speak to that a little bit? Do you think extras work is worth it? I mean, what do you think?
I think it's very similar to what you've just said. I was when I first started, because I hadn't been on set
Right.
ever, it was like it was magical. I'm sure you know the feeling. Like I was like on big movie sets. Like I worked on Mission Impossible.
Right.
I worked on The Eternals. I got to see Tom Cruise, Angelina Jolie, and I was like, this is surreal.
Yeah.
So, but I wasn't really thinking of it too much. Like if I become an extra for 10 years, I'm gonna become an actor. Like I wasn't thinking of it like that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I've met some really deluded people on set where
Same.
they say things like, "I've been an extra for 10 years," and I'm like, "Okay, so have you been to drama school?" They're like, "No." I'm like, "Have you got an agent?" No. I'm like, but they're trying to tell me that they're trying to become an actor, and I'm for me that's like, you can't just be an extra and become an actor.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but um, for me, at the beginning, like I said, it was just a fun experience. I got to meet lots of cool people, same as you. Done lots of fun projects. I met directors, cinematographers, other actors, singers, everything, and it was amazing. And the good thing is as well, extra websites these days are putting up a lot of featured roles,
Yeah.
and I did get 2 or 3 jobs through that, but I never thought of being an extra like as the main like target. Like within our industry there's like a million different ways of becoming an actor,
Hmm.
like, oh, maybe someone sees you on stage, maybe someone saw your stand-up routine, maybe someone saw you online, or maybe I don't know, there's so many different ways. So I thought with being an extra, it's also a way that could work, but you can't rely on that. It was just kind of like, let me do it for a while, see where it takes me, blah blah blah. Like that's kind of how that was my take on it. And then for me, because I worked as an extra for maybe four or wait, how many years? Maybe 3 or 4 years. I worked as an extra. Yeah, and then I started to get acting jobs where I was featured, where I had lines, where I was getting paid a lot more money.
Mhm.
To see that side and then go back to being an extra,
Oh, it's
if I'm
rough.
honest with you, it was tough. It was
Hmm.
very tough. I couldn't do it after a while. I did it for a few more times, and then I remember I said to myself one day, "This is the last extra job I'm ever gonna do because I can't do it." It's literally like you said that my self-respect was just like I can't. And I'm not saying that being an extra is bad. I'm not saying that, and I'm not saying that. It was just for me because my goals are different. It was like I want to be an actor. I can't be an extra anymore. And yeah, it's been about a year and a half since I've stopped it, but great experience, and I would advise anyone to do it for a little while.
Yeah, then that's the thing as well.
Yeah,
Like I've got other friends in the industry who feel the same. Like, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. And I've said like, and I've tried to kind of say to what I think if you use it as like an admin day,
yeah,
like
you
apply for
could do.
other
Yeah,
shit, network, whatever. But yeah, like, I mean, every time I do it, I think about other projects I've done where I've been actually featured. Like I did a few short films this year where like one of which I was the lead character in, another I was a supporting character in it. And I love it and I'm acting, I'm doing it. And then
yeah,
you go back to an extras thing, like you said, and it's like, I mean, I will say this, right? For anyone who's doing extras work, let me be clear. I know that feeling, when you're just brushed aside. Sometimes you're featured a bit more prominently. I was on Hollyoaks recently and I was like, it was quite close knit. Like I assumed it would be like, 50 people and I'm like in the background chanting something, right? But
mm,
it was very close knit. It was just like
okay,
five of us with the main cast and we were talking and I was
lovely.
getting advice and it was beautiful. But I was also not under any delusions that, this is going to take off. I'm suddenly going to get somewhere with this. I just looked at it for what it was. It was a payday. It was an opportunity to get advice. It was, it's good, I suppose, on the CV to say you've done that. But I don't know necessarily the industry always respects it as much as it should. Because here's the reality with extras work. Sure, yeah, anyone can be in a crowd, right? I get it. I understand. But sometimes you have to do stuff that does actually require acting.
Yeah,
And, you know, even though you might feel brushed aside or whatever, you're still doing it. You're still doing something. And I've had other friends who've said, well, you're on set, that's better than not being on set. So
exactly.
I guess my point with this is it's all about perspective and what you are looking to get out of it. But yeah, it's hard. It's not easy. It can really kind of crush you sometimes. And like you spoke about like how you sometimes you have like people that seem deluded or seem like
Yeah,
and that's it's a funny aspect to it. Like, you get in conversations with people and most people see it the same way. They're like, yeah, it's a bit of money, whatever. I'm working on this. Oh, great. Let's follow each other. Let's work on something. Right.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Brilliant. But then you get people and it's like, there's that hope there. And I think it's beautiful. Keep on to that. But at the same time, the chances are so low. Like you got to do put the I'm not saying not do extra stuff, like keep it on the side, keep doing that, but also, yeah, build up your monologues, build up your profile, get on Spotlight, keep emailing agents until they get sick of the sight of you and have to give you something.
Yeah.
Do what me and Aziz are doing, post online daily all the time. Like Aziz posts skits and other funny things and gives clips of him acting as well. I do the same. I put like auditions online. I do regular live streams where I promote myself. Like it's for fun. It's also to promote oneself. And that's really an integral part of being an actor and trying to push yourself through. You have to be a salesman. You have to like promote yourself all the time. You have to be not afraid to say like, yeah, I do this. I'm an actor. And that's another thing as well. And there's something that I learned to do. Don't say I'm an aspiring actor or I'm hoping to do this. If you've
Yeah.
acted on something, you are an actor, right? Now, maybe you're not a very good actor and you have to work at it, but you're still an actor. You're still doing it.
Yeah.
So don't put yourself down. Like have that belief in yourself and push through. And hey, who knows? You'd be like Aziz and you start making it. So there you go.
It's just the beginning, but yeah. So
Um,
what you're doing? Are you still doing a bit of extra work here and there, or
Here and there. I do like part time at the bar as well to make ends meet,
Of
and
course.
again, I see it for what it is. But with extra stuff as well, it's tricky because you know how it is. Like they're like, "Oh, are you available this date, this date, this date?" And you say yes, and then you hear last minute, and it's like, "Well, I'm already committed to the bar at this point. They've given me work. I'm going to take the work, not maybe at like 11 p.m. at night. Oh, are you available to come in tomorrow, 5
Yeah.
a.m. start? Like, come on, be ridiculous. Like, it's
I know.
ridiculous." And
That's the
that's
thing about it, isn't it? That's sometimes a bit, yeah.
well, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I'm a flexible guy, but like, come on, man. Like, you're just being ridiculous at this point. Especially if it's like I live in Manchester, right?
Okay.
And you got to kind of if I'm trying to get to like Liverpool for a certain time, for argument's sake, there's a certain kind of I don't know timeline where it's after
Of
which it's not possible anymore, and you know what I mean. Like, I mean, I don't
yeah,
know for anyone who's tried to get last minute trains, and you see
yeah.
like how extortionate the prices are, even coaches sometimes.
Yeah,
It's you got to plan this stuff ahead,
definitely.
but yeah, I guess I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts on that, and also and like just kind of illustrate the point that like people need to be doing a lot of different things, not just putting all
Yeah,
their eggs in one basket.
100%.
A few other questions related to acting, and then we'll get into what you do online. What advice could you give to actors who are aiming to get signed by an agency, or maybe just starting out?
Um, well, firstly, you got to go to drama school. I I know people think that I always felt like I could act. I felt like I knew how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But going to drama school, just kind of being around other actors and just it's kind of just like practice. I mean, when I look at footballers, for example, they train almost every day.
Right.
They don't stop training. Like
Mm-hmm.
you need to always do it. So for me, it was like if I go to drama school and kind of just get into the habit of always acting, always being able to kind of get into character, learning lines, like just things like that. That's what it was for me. But then that also had a limit. For me, it was like I did it for about 2 years. And then, yeah, so some drama schools, obviously, they have their own agencies. So that's a really good thing. That's a very easy way to kind of get in. It's like you go to drama school, you get an agent, bang, you're on spotlight, you're going to start doing blah, blah, blah. But also, what we're doing, like, you have to take advantage of social media. I, I don't understand how people don't want to do it. I know for some people, they don't understand how it works. I didn't, like you didn't, but you just like the opportunity is there, man.
Mm.
You can post videos online. Like, I've got jobs through my social media.
Oh,
Like it's
really?
yeah. So I worked with two big YouTubers on these projects, and they saw my videos online, and they reached out to me. I went and auditioned for them and things like that. Do you know what I mean? Like anything can happen. And I got my first agent actually through my first acting agent saw me online and was like, "Have you got an agent?" I said, "No." She said, "Let's have a meeting," just because she saw my videos. So
Amazing.
that's what I mean. Like you got to just you got to take opportunities like social media. Obviously, everyone says network, 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 but you don't want to be annoying. Like you don't want to just speak to everybody and annoy everybody. Like I used to have this friend that whenever we used to work as extras for years, and I was always on set with this one guy. Every time we went onto set, he would be hassling the director, and I,
Ooh, that's a no go right
so
there.
cringe, man. I couldn't deal with it.
I could get you kicked off if you do that.
Honestly, the director was like, "Can someone just get rid of this guy?" And they just had to pull him aside, and they said, "If you speak to him one more time, you're off." Because imagine the director's trying to work, and you're just in his ear like, meh, 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 meh. Like it was just so awkward. But yeah, so like network is great, yeah.
Yeah.
But also something that really helped me, I found some local theaters and I signed up, went and auditioned. I did a play for which lasted for about a week. But the whole aspect of going to rehearsals every week and then performing for 7 days in a row, like for me, that was like a crazy experience because it just made me, firstly, it made me understand, can I do this? Because some people have this dream, like, I want to be an actor, but sometimes you don't know if you're like, if you can handle it in a way where, because it's a confidence thing. Yeah, like with
Hmm.
acting, you've got to be able to do it when you. It's like, yeah. So you're performing. You're like a sports star. You're an entertainer at the end of the day. If the camera's on and they say go, you can't be like, oh wait, let me just go and like, have like, yeah, you might get a chance, but do you know what I mean? Like you've got to be
Yep.
ready to go. So for me, the theatre thing was a good experience to test myself to say, am I able to do this when it matters? And it helped me. So yeah, things like that, and obviously signing up to Star Now, Mandy, backstage, 100% you have to do that. Like it's key, because you start at the bottom. You start with these student jobs or these low budget jobs, but then you never know. You might end up like I found a job for Guinness on
Oh,
Star Now.
mad.
Yeah, could you imagine? Like, it was actually during lockdown, and we were in, you know how they had the bubbles, like everyone, whoever was
Oh,
living
yeah.
together. And imagine at the time, I was with like 5 or 6 actors, and
Mad luck.
bro, honestly, it gets even better. We were all so diverse. There was one black guy, one black girl, one white guy, one Mediterranean guy, one Mediterranean girl. Like it
Start a
was.
show with that.
Honestly, mate, it was just so diverse, and like whenever we applied for roles, they were really interested in us. And yeah, we got this Guinness job, great money, like honest, it was so good, and just through Star Now. But yeah, so that's kind of what I would advise. But also, you just yeah, you really have to believe in yourself, man. I can't explain. I have so many down days where I'm like, maybe I'm not good enough. I have it all the time, but you have to have this really strong mentality where you're just like, shut the fuck up. You're a star. Do you know what I mean? Like you need to always. It's like yeah, it's like when I know I compare it to sports all the time, but like when I see sports stars and they walk onto that pitch, I'm like, is like they're focused. You know, they
Mm.
know that they're the guy or the girl, but like. Yeah, you've really got to believe in yourself, and it sometimes feels very delusional. It does. You're like, am I living in a fantasy world? And even your parents or your friends might be like, come on, man, like you're 30, like like you got to get a proper job and all that, you know. But listen, as soon as I started to see some sort of momentum, the fact that I was like, right, okay, I'm getting jobs, I'm getting auditions, maybe I have got something here, you know, and that kind of gave me the hope as well. I mean, some people may not have got any opportunity for a long time, but I'm not saying quit. I'm just saying like you do need to see some sign of like this is for me because it might not be for you, you know. Um, but yeah, that's kind of some sort of advice, I guess.
Could not agree with all of you. Thank you very much for sharing that. Yeah, there was something this year that just like, I don't know, I guess a switch just turned in my head. And it was part of it was when I stopped referring to myself as aspiring. And I was like, no, I am an actor. I've been doing this like 5 years now.
Mm,
I've worked on like productions all around the world, all sorts of stuff. I am
yeah,
an actor. But then there is that battle. And I think in a way it's good. It keeps you grounded. You know, it means that you're never going to become like an egotist. But at the same time, you do have to have a certain degree of like belief in yourself. You have to be like, yeah, you know what? I'm brilliant. I'm good enough. I can do this. You have to keep working at it, you know, always. Even if you are killing it, you still got to, you know, for example, when I was on Hollyoaks, there was a guy on set who's one of the lead cast. And he says, like, even to this day, despite having done acting for like 20 plus years, he still gets lessons to this day.
yeah,
And he has his own theatre group and everything, and he does all these things, but he's still honing his craft always. Um, and I think anyone who is working on any kind of thing, like particularly like creative, you know, you got to always be practicing, always working on it, always pushing yourself. And belief in yourself is like probably maybe the biggest part of it. Like when you're on set and you've got something, you're like, oh, wow, I can't believe they picked me. You know what? Of course they'll pick you because you're brilliant. You deserve to be there. There's a reason that you're in that spot. So go and nail it, kill it, prove why you deserve to be in that spot.
100%, 100%.
Right, let's do some weird shit. What's the craziest thing you've ever seen happen on set?
That's a tough one. Craziest.
Or just like weird, or I don't know, just like
Um,
Because I think the acting industry is a lot like the circus. Sometimes it's a bit.
I mean, I've seen funny things happen, or I've seen like shocking things happen, but
All right,
I
let's go
wouldn't.
there. Shocking.
Yeah, I mean, so I've seen people get thrown off set, something like that. Like there was we were working on Mission Impossible. We were all extras, and I met this guy. I won't say his name
Yeah.
because he's kind of well known in a. He's actually a sports star, which is really weird. He's a sports star. He's got like a lot of followers on Instagram, and anyway, he wanted to become an actor.
Okay.
So he was on set with us, and I was just being. You know how it is when you're an extra. They say to you, you sit here, you end up talking. Like it's just you
Yeah.
start talking to the person. So it was me, him, and a girl on the table, and I was trying to talk to him, like, oh, what's your name? What do you do? Blah blah. And he was like, yeah, I'm a boxer. Yeah, I got blue tick on Instagram. I was
Oh,
like, that's a
fuck's
weird thing to
sake.
say. Like, I literally just
Yeah.
asked you your name. Like,
I'm a
and
blue
then
tick player, brother. Like what?
literally, and even the girl next to me was like, who's this idiot? Kind of thing.
Especially
Anyway,
now, because I'll just interject real quick, like because you have to pay for the tick, so the tick doesn't mean anything
exactly.
anymore.
Yeah, no,
Anyway,
it's so true. The value has completely gone. But like, yeah. So anyway, it was just a bit weird. And I remember I was trying to speak to him, and all he kept doing was just talking about himself. And he never asked me one question. And I thought, all right, cool. That's just the kind of guy he is. He's a bit of an arrogant guy, whatever. I'll just avoid him. And then I kept seeing him speaking to lots and lots of girls, and I was like,
hmm.
okay, he's just trying to shut up every girl. And then one of the girls came over to me, and so this was filmed out of London, and we were all staying in a hotel, which was a sick experience.
Wow, that's
So
cool.
imagine we were all staying in a hotel, like 100 extras, and like every time we were on set, we'll come back to the hotel, go for dinner together, have a bunch of drinks. It
Oh,
was so
mate.
fun. It was honestly one of the best experiences. Like such a sick time. But then like we were going to bed at like 2, getting up at 4, like getting on set. Oh my, it was mad. Anyway, so this guy has turned around and he's asked 2 to 3 different girls, "Do you want to come back to my room tonight?" Literally
Jesus
just
Christ.
straight up. And I was like, "What?" And they were telling me at the time. They were literally coming over to me. They were like, "Oh, have you spoke to this guy? He's a bit of a creep." Anyway, obviously, on set, we're not always allowed to bring our phones. They take the
Right.
phone away from you when yeah. So they put it in a little box. It's locked away with extras. You know how strict they are. Anyway, we didn't have our phones that day. He snuck his phone in, this guy. He's sitting
Oh.
on the corner. Yeah, he's sitting somewhere private. I don't know. He kind of like went behind a curtain or something, and he's filming himself. And he's like, "Yo, like I'm on set, blah blah blah." And one of the
Ooh.
girls he approached saw him and was like, "You know what? This guy's a creep. I'm gonna get him chucked off." She went over to the AD, one of the ADs. Was like, "This guy's on his phone. He's filming himself. Blah blah." They've literally approached him. They said, "Come here, give us your phone, open it up, show us your videos right now."
Yeah.
And there was all the proof was there, and he got chucked off immediately. And that was just a bit of a mad one. Like,
Yeah.
because I've never seen someone actually get thrown off set, and he was just done. Like, and you know how it is that you can get blacklisted, and
Right. Yeah.
they'll never use you again. But yeah, that was a bit mad. I remember I was quite shocked because it just happened like that, gone. You know?
You got to be so careful. Like I remember one time I was doing a feature and we were all extras. We were just mucking around in the
Yeah.
background, and this guy, if he ever watches, he'll know. And I'm such an idiot for this, right? Because we did have our phones on us, but we weren't obviously like recorded. Because like, just as a side rule, guys, when you're on set, don't film anything. Definitely don't post anything on social media. But like he goes like, "Oh, take a picture now of him." Like not
Mm,
anything that just zoomed in of him. And
yeah.
then fucking one of the ADs comes over and they're like, "Show us what's on your phone." I'm like,
Oh.
"Oh, of course." And then I see him in the corner of my eye just going, like, because I've taken the bait because I'm an idiot. And then I'm like, "That's fine. I'm just taking pictures of my mate." Right? And he's like, "Yeah, just delete those." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's fine." And luckily, it wasn't a problem.
Yeah,
Obviously,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
more than I understood like the issue, but you got to take it really seriously. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. It's like what I said earlier about professionalism. That's part of it.
Yeah.
The rules are in place for a reason, and when you don't follow the rules, yeah, you're going to get in shit. And it's weird when you get someone who thinks they're above the rules, and it's like it's just not cool. It's not professional, and it
No,
means
exactly.
yeah, you're not going to get work in the future. So more
Yeah, man,
for
just
you, I
respect
guess.
the rules. That's it. It's very simple. That you're there to work at the end of the day. People forget. Like, of course, being on set is amazing. It's fun. Everyone's a bit weird because we're all creatives. You know, like
Yeah,
we're not your normal people. But
it's
yeah,
true.
I try to be professional. As much as I want to have fun, you gotta be professional, man.
You mentioned earlier about people being delusional, and I've had some interesting interactions with people on set. What would you
Yeah.
say is like the weirdest or most delusional interaction you've had with someone on set?
Do you know what? I'll never forget this guy. I just can't get over it. It was, but I don't want to sound like a prick. Yeah.
No, I mean, I will add to this as well. Like
Yeah.
everyone's got a story. I've got plenty of where you meet someone and maybe they start listing off their CV or whatever, and it's just awkward. And you sit there and you try to be polite, but you're like,
Yeah.
okay, all right, I'm gonna go get some water. Like,
Yeah, literally, and then because there are so many strange people on set. Like there was, there was. I'll tell you two stories. I'll keep one of them short. There was this one guy that he was older than us, and I think he was in his 60s, and there was a bunch of us that were like in our 30s, and it was all like three or four young guys. We were just like sitting around having bants, and this 60-year-old guy who just kept trying to interact with us. Obviously, I'm not being ageist or anything,
of
but
course,
like it was, it felt a bit awkward because it felt like he kept trying to get involved with us. Anyway, and every time we spoke to him, all he did was say to me, "Oh, like I've got my own driver. Oh, I drive a Bentley." And I'm like, "Why are you telling me this?" Like, and then in the end, we were just like trying to avoid him the whole time because all he ever did was if I said something, he'd be like, "Oh yeah, I got a yacht," and I'm like, it would. Do you know what I mean? Like, those kind of people. You're like,
yeah.
"Oh, I've got a Mercedes." Is like, "Well, I've got a Bentley." Well, bro, it's not a competition. I'm just trying to talk. Anyway, that was one guy. He was really annoying, but it was kind of funny. Like whenever I think about it, I just laugh.
Well, I always think as well, like in the context of that, like I would just think, well, why the fuck are you here then? On
Apparently, just for fun. I mean,
oh,
listen,
okay, all right,
fair. Like, I'm not judging. I'm not like, but like, it's just weird to talk about. Like, showing off in that sort of way to a bunch of young guys. Like, why do you think we care? Like, I don't know what you were trying to achieve. It was one of their moments. Anyway, the second one, I remember I sat down on a tape. Did you work through COVID, by the way?
no, I only had like one project that whole year. I
Oh,
was
mate, it
unlucky.
was horrendous. It was so bad. The way that they used to do social distancing and the masks and the COVID tests, like, I got so sick of it. Every time you went in, you would have about three COVID tests a day.
Yes.
They would make everyone sit like on a long table, and you had to sit like 2 meters apart. You had masks on and blah blah blah. There was COVID police. Literally, if you removed your mask for 1 second, they'll be screaming at you. Like
Wow.
there was one day I remember on Mission Impossible where someone literally screamed at me, and I went over to them afterwards, and I was like, "Listen, you don't understand. Like, you're pissing me off. Like, I can't breathe. All I did was pull my mask down for like a second." And anyway, that's another story. But yeah, so I remember I sat in front of this guy. He was probably in his 40s, um, and he looked a bit like he was wearing like really old clothes. Um, he looked a bit scruffy, like his hair was a bit messy, his teeth were a bit dodgy. Like there was just, I didn't really know what to think. But with instant judgment, yeah, I could have been completely wrong. Anyway, we sat down. I'm like, "Oh, so what's your name? What'd you do? Blah blah." He's like, "Yo, I'm an actor." I said, "Oh, okay. So what you been in?" And he started naming all these Hollywood films. He was like, "Yeah, I was in I don't know, Mission Impossible, but literally all the big films like Fast and Furious, Tom and Jerry, because I know they were working on them in London." And I was like, "Oh, what was your role?" He was like, "Oh yeah, I was in the crowd." I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, so was it an acting job or was it an extra job?" And he was like, "Oh, it was an extra job." I said,
Yeah.
"Okay." I said, "So what acting jobs have you done?" He was like, "No, my jobs have all been extra work." And I
Right.
said, "Okay, so have you done any acting work?" And he was like, "No." I said, But in my head, I'm like, I just asked you, and you told me you were an actor, and I'm not trying to say that
No, no.
don't be,
It's,
but yeah. So then I started saying to him, so have you have you been to drama school? He said no. I said okay. Have you got an agent? No. Have you been on Spotlight? No. Have you got a show reel? No. I said, and in my head, I'm like, why does this guy think he's an actor? Like, what? I'm confused. So I
yeah,
was like, so I said to him, listen, mate, I don't mean to be rude, but do you mind if I give you a bit of advice? I said, and then I was like, I'll do a bit of acting myself. And I was kind of like halfway through my thing, but I was on Spotlight. I had an agent and I had a bit of a show reel. I was still early days, but I said, maybe you should consider this kind of thing. And he was like, nah. I'm quite happy being an extra. Like, I know one day
okay.
there's someone's just gonna pick me to be a star. And I was like,
Oh,
fucking hell, this is delusion. I was like, this is delusion because you're not trying to do anything apart from come to sit as an extra in the hope that you get picked. And I felt sorry for him. I genuinely felt sorry. I was like, mate, imagine walking around with this mindset. I don't know. I was confused. But yeah, it
it's
was.
tragic. It's because
It
the thing
is
is,
exactly.
and
It's
I'll
so
add to this as
tragic.
well. Like you made an important distinction there between like extras work and acting work. And again, we're not taking away from extras work here, but
Yeah.
as far as like how the industry sees it and like casting directors, like I got some advice given to me by an industry professional recently, and they were like, "Listen, that extra stuff that you're featuring on your spotlight and your website, that makes it look like you're just a career extra." And
Mm,
I took it into account. I was like, all right. And I sort of buried it. Like, so it's still there, but it's not featured anymore. It's like,
mm.
like, yeah, I've done extras work, but it's not like,
Yeah.
here's what I've done in acting. And
Exactly.
that's the way you got to look at it. Like, nothing wrong with doing extras work, but make sure you're doing the other stuff and you're building, like the building
Exactly.
blocks. Now,
100%.
moving on, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you this. And I know everyone will be screaming at me. This is how I discovered you. And I think this is how a lot of people have probably discovered you.
Yeah.
In your own words, please explain your love for kebabs.
I just had one for lunch, by the way.
Of course you did. It's consistent. It's part of the brand.
It's part of the package. The
Bro,
real,
I will say just like I'm waiting for the day that you do like a kebab commercial or something. I
mate,
want to see it. It's please universe make it happen.
well, I think I don't think I've ever had an audition for one, but anything food related, I get excited over.
Yeah,
But listen, I mean, I'm of Turkish Cypriot background.
cool.
Kebabs are in our culture, firstly. Um, but for me, yeah, I mean, my family, I love it. Like, I think it's like, funny enough, yeah, my viewers will hate this, but my favorite food is actually pizza.
What?
I know,
What?
I know. I'm
Outrageous.
a fraud.
Yeah,
But
me too, man.
what?
Me too.
Like, listen,
Yo, pizza kebab.
do you know who Haaland is?
I don't, I'm afraid.
Oh, okay. He's a footballer that plays for Man City.
Oh,
Anyway,
sorry. Yeah, of
yeah,
course.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he done an interview recently, and they were asking him like, "What's your favorite food?" And he was like, "I love kebab pizza." And they were like, "What
Hell
kebab
yeah.
pizza?" Like, this is a footballer, a professional athlete.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, no. Listen, my love for kebab. I mean, the thing about kebabs, which I thought, the reason that they went into my videos so much is because everyone who goes on a night out can relate to the late night kebab.
It's
It's a
true.
very like it's a thing that people do. It's like go out, have a few drinks, 2 a.m. kebab shops open, let's go get a kebab. It was one of those things. And when I first started kind of doing video, because my first videos ever were just ethnic. It was like ethnic dad and son
Oh, cool.
argument all the time. That was kind of like my theme. And then I started to think, what can I do things that are more related to the British public? So it was like, right, I could use my ethnicity with the kebabs, but something that an everyday British person can relate to. And everyone loves a drink, obviously, in Britain. Like, it's such a big thing. It's like,
Maybe a few
what's the
too many.
culture of Britain? Yeah, literally, like, let's go have a drink. But that's kind of that's how I kind of integrated it into my videos. I was like, right, this is very relatable. I think a lot of people can understand this. So yeah, that's kind of how it all became a thing.
Why do you think kebabs are so popular in the UK? Because I mean, obviously it comes from other countries, but like it's
Yeah.
become such a part of British culture. Like you mentioned, like 2 a.m. kebab. We've all been there. We've all done that. Why do you think that is?
I guess these Turkish kebab guys are the only ones that are willing to be open at this bloody time. Like honestly,
Fair.
because like, I mean, maybe if you're in, do you ever come to London like to go
Once in a
out at
blue
all?
moon. No,
Okay,
definitely not.
yeah. So there's there's an area called Shoreditch,
Yeah.
um, and it's like a trendy place to go out. In Shoreditch, if you were to go out at 2 a.m., loads of restaurants are open. Pizza, curry, Chinese, Turkey, like everything's open. So it's like it's crazy. But yeah, the kebab shops was like the original one where it was always open at night. But now everywhere, kind of thing. But I think that's kind of what made it a thing. Like just the fact that they were open so late. I think.
Thanks for that, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
A couple of final questions for you that I ask all my guests. What's the biggest mistake that you've made in life that you learned a valuable life lesson from?
The biggest mistake I've made in life. That is a deep question.
Keeping it deep on the Christian Reeve podcast.
I love it. I know, I love it. I love it. These are nice questions. I always do think I wish I started earlier.
Sure.
Um, but then again, it's I had such a great childhood. I had such a fun, like YOLO type attitude when I was growing up. Like my my late teens and my early 20s was just absolute fun. Like I used to go out, eat in lovely restaurants. You know when you first start earning money and you're like, oh my God, like
Mm,
I've got so much money, like let me go eat here, let me go out and spend £500 like in a club. Like it was just so much fun and I don't regret it. But there is a part of me that says if I had the mentality to kind of be able to be focused at a young
mm.
age, it would have been great. I'm not sure maybe if you can relate, but the way I'm 34 now, my mentality and the ability to kind of be like, right, this is my goal. This is
Hmm.
what I need to do to get it. I have to work on it every day. If I don't like the idea of discipline, like that kind of came to me at a very late age. I wish it had come sooner, but then at the same time, I don't really regret that it didn't. I've kind of accepted like this is my journey. It might happen when I'm 50, like who knows? But yeah, I would say that's sort of a regret, but sort of I wouldn't call it a mistake, but yeah, maybe something like that. But then, yeah, I can't think of a specific, something that I did wrong where it's like I've been. What was the exact question again? Sorry.
So, like the biggest mistake that you made that you learned a valuable life lesson from?
There probably is something. I'm sure there is. Maybe I don't know. If it comes back to me, it'll come back to me.
No
But I can't
worries.
think of anything specific, man. Sorry.
What's the best advice you've ever received?
In acting or in
It can be either, whatever comes.
best advice. I mean, there's a quote that I quite like that I hear quite often. The quote itself was basically to appreciate what you have, but keep pushing, basically. And in this industry, it can it can eat you alive because, for example, when I first started, I was like, all I want to do is get one acting job. That's my dream. I just want to get one acting job, and I'll be satisfied. It's kind of
Uh,
it's yeah, and it's similar to like even when I make content, I'm like, if I get 5,000 views, if I get 10,000 views, I'll be happy. You get there, and then you're like, I want 50,000 views, I want 1 million views, and then you're like, it's the same with the acting. It's like, oh, I earned this much money on this job. My next job has to be bigger and it has to be better. So you need to kind of have the balance of I really appreciate where I am, and you need to be grateful for it, but keep pushing. Just don't be like I want to be here, but I'm really upset that I'm still here. It needs to be I'm happy I'm here, but I want to get to here. That's kind of something that I really try to think of a lot, because if you don't appreciate where you are, you're going to be unhappy. You will be, because and another thing is like there are people who would die to be in your position.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
I remember when I first, yeah, when I did one job, people were asking me, "How the hell did you do that? Like how? I just want that one job," and I'm like, "Yeah, but I want another job. Like
Hmm.
it's not. It's yeah. That do you know what I mean? That kind of thing." So yeah, I would say that's a very
But
important.
I'll add to this as well, and I
Yeah,
wonder if you can relate to this. The reality of our industry is that you're always kind of looking forward. So, for example, if you see an actor on the red carpet and they're promoting something, they film that shit like a year before, and they're
yeah,
working on like several projects at once. I can say the same in my life. And again,
exactly.
I'm not a success or anything, but like I'm always working on several things at once. And once one project's done, you're like on to the next one. And
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy. You're always looking for the next thing. And that's not to say that you don't appreciate what you have, but it's easy to get caught up in not kind of just taking a minute to like be like, hey, yeah, this is an amazing experience, or I'm grateful to be here, or just soaking it up. Like
yeah, man.
more and more in my life, I just learned to kind of just be in the moment, you know,
Exactly.
absorb it and then move on.
That's it, man. Yeah, you got to be present. You have to be present.
And speaking of moving on, what's the biggest life lesson you've learned so far?
Life lesson. I mean, apart from what I just kind of explained, that's a tough one. Something different.
Let's switch it a little bit as well. With that question, whenever I ask these questions, it's always my focus is always for that person specifically. So in your
Mm.
life, throughout the years, through everything you've been through, what would you say is the biggest life lesson that you've learned?
In all honesty, I think similar to what I've said just previously, but my biggest life lesson is like we got one life, man. We got one life. Um, yes, I understand like everyone's circumstances are completely different. Like I remember speaking to one of my friends recently who, when I was young, we used to do drama together, and he was the best actor. I remember I used to look up to him like, man, I wanna act like him. He's so confident. Anyway, he chose a completely different path. He's got a 9 to 5.
Okay.
I'm not even too sure what job he does. Yeah, but he's got a family. He's got a wife. He's got a kid.
Yeah.
And I saw him about a year or two ago, and he was like, "Oh man, you're doing acting now. Like that's amazing." And I'm like, "Bruv, I thought you were gonna be doing acting. Like, how am I doing it and you're not doing it when I thought you were like the greatest actor ever?" Anyway, and I said to him, "Why aren't you doing it?" And he just looked at me. He was like, "Don't even remind me, man. It's deep inside him. I could see it. He was like, it's like he wanted to do it, but he was like, I've got a family. I can't just get up and become an actor, you know."
You know
And
what? I think that's where it's wrong.
what do you mean?
Even with your friend, look, he's got responsibilities. I get it. But hey, if he's ever listening to this, bro, it's
Mhm.
never too late. Get out there. So many people have started so much later in life and have become successes. I could name a ton right now, and I'm sure you could
Yeah,
too. Like,
exactly.
and that the reality is, it's inside you. When there's something that you're born to do, and you know you need to do it. You need to get that stuff out there because you're going to be happier for it, and everyone else around you is going to be more than happy for it too. You know,
100%, man.
I mean, if you don't release it, I mean, that's why you get so many people that end up getting bitter later in life. You know,
100%. Like, yeah, so there's, I see so many miserable people around me because all their life consists of is go to work, come home,
Right.
deal with the kids, blah blah blah. And I'm not saying that's bad. Yeah, look,
Hmm.
like I said earlier, everyone's circumstances are different, and sometimes in that moment in time, your sole goal is to put food on the table. Yeah,
Hmm.
I get that. And for example, like my parents, they're immigrants. They came to this country. They For them it was get any job, just raise my kids, and that made them happy. And I'm purely grateful for that. But someone like me, I had the opportunity where I was like, you know what, maybe I can do something I like. But yeah, going back to the original question, we got one life. If you have, like you said, that burning desire inside you, if you don't release it somehow, I don't care what you're going to do. Go do local theater, go do stand up. Even if you don't become like the next best thing, you will enjoy that so much that you're still releasing what's inside of you. Like I'm sure you know the feeling. I'm such a creative that like I'm writing shit. I'm writing shit down every day.
Hmm.
I see something happen in front of me, and I'm like, "Oh my god, that's such a funny video idea." Boom, boom, boom. I'll write it down. Do you know what I mean? Like, we can't help but be this way. It's just the way we are. And if you like, yeah, that's basically it, man. Like, I don't want to live with regret. I don't want to ever get old and think I didn't try, because I personally think, like I said this to my agent the other day. I said, the day I did Gangs of London, yeah, I was so happy that I was kind of like, if I died tomorrow, I wouldn't care. I know that sounds insane, but do you know what I mean? It was kind of
Yeah.
like I've experienced something that I've always wanted to experience, and yeah, it was just beautiful, man. And people should do that. And like I said, even if it means, I don't know, performing at a restaurant, man, like whatever, like why not?
Chasing dreams.
Yeah, yeah, man, why not?
Final question for you. Do you have any upcoming projects or some final thoughts that you'd like to share with our listeners?
Yes, actually, I do.
Hey.
So I was involved in a short film called If Only, and it's written and directed by. Oh wait, hold on, I'm gonna get his full name
You don't
because
remember the
I
name?
I forgot his
Oh.
full name. His first name's Isla. I think it's. Hold on, I
He's
feel
going to be
embarrassed
pissed when
now.
he sees us. He's going to
How dare you?
be like,
So Isla Abdur Rahman. This is him. I don't know
there
if
you
you've ever
go.
seen.
Shout out.
Yeah, so he used to do a YouTube series called The Corner Shop Network,
Mm,
and it was actually quite a big YouTube series. It was just about people working in a corner shop and like some bands and stuff that would happen in there.
good
Anyway,
idea.
so yeah, so I got a small role on there. It's like a gang related story, bit Top Boy, like that kind of style. But it's got a very powerful message, and it's actually based on a true story, to kind of help with gang violence and things like that. We don't, obviously no one wants that to go on,
Mm.
but yeah. So the story is, I don't want to reveal too much, but yeah, it's gang related, manipulation, grooming, things like that.
Wow.
It's a 20-minute short film, or yeah, 20 to 30 minute. So yeah, I was one of the gang members in that. Yeah, it's called If Only. It's actually premiering in 2 weeks, but it won't be out online for a while because we're going to be submitting it to festivals and things like that. So yeah, that's something I'm really excited for that. It was such a cool project to work on. But yeah, that's what I've got coming up at the moment. The rest has been a bit of a dry period, to be honest with you. I haven't had any auditions in a while.
It's like that
Um,
sometimes, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like I've been on my agent's case, and they're like, "No, no, don't worry. It's just a quiet period at the moment." But yeah, final thoughts. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. Um, and yeah, chase your dreams.
There you go. Thank you so much for appearing on the show, man. Absolute pleasure. Very proud of you, and we'll be
Thank
always
you, man.
rooting for you. And yeah, to all the listeners of the Christian Reeve podcast, as always, thank you for listening. Make sure that you go and join the Discord, check out the podcast, wherever you listen to the podcast, check out the Patreon content as well, patreon.com/Christian Reeve. But most importantly, be safe, be well, and I'll see you in the next one.